Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be breaking down the television series The Expanse, specifically the firefight at the Blue Falcon Hotel and the ensuing intrigues on Eros. The front end is going to be lore heavy, but I promise you some excellent violence at the end. You should check out previous episodes, but for a quick recap, humanity has become a multiplanetary species which has come with political struggles, war, crime, and opportunity that has twisted the species about. Earth is the birthplace of humanity with the largest navy, but it's economically and technologically stagnant, reliant on the belt for its wealth. Mars is a competent technocratic rival, as colonizing the red planet comes with harsh realities that have hardened its people. The belt is the frontier, colonized by anarchic pioneers living in hollowed-out asteroids. Belters have evolved physically and culturally by their long time in the void, and wish to throw off the yoke of the inner planets. The Canterbury was an ice hauler that was nuked by an unknown stealth ship. A handful of survivors from the Canterbury were captured and interrogated by the Martian Navy. The Martians tried to pressure the crew into blaming one of their own, Naomi Nagata, as a Belter Outer Planets Alliance terrorist. The executive officer of the Canterbury, an Earther Navy veteran named James Holden, refused to blame his own crew for the incident, angering the Martians. It was Mars who was currently being blamed for the death of their ship, bringing Earth, Mars, and the Belt to the edge of war. Stealth ships then attacked and boarded the Doniger, hoping to escalate the tensions with all factions blaming each other. Martian Marines helped the crew of the Canterbury escape aboard a Martian frigate named the Tachi, but Executive Officer Lopez, the last Martian standing, died in the escape. As a last-ditch effort to get the information on the attack on the Canterbury and Doniger into the right hands, Lopez turned over control of the Tachi to the Canterbury crew. Having survived 2 stealth ship attacks, lost a member to a railgun round, Shed, their medic, and having Amos, their mechanic and muscle, wounded, has made the crew a bit jumpy. They're worried if they go to Mars, they'll be interrogated and disappeared. If they go to Earth, they'll be used for wartime propaganda, likely resulting in more death. The risky, but safest course of action, is meeting with Fred Johnson, a former Earth Marine and current political leader of a faction of the Outer Planets Alliance on Tycho Station. Fred Johnson is an interesting and conflicted character. He was once the bane of pirates in the Belt, hunting them down and killing or incarcerating them as necessary as a captain in the United Nations Marine Corps. When Anderson Station was seized by Belter insurgents, he successfully retook it, killing 173 insurgents. In addition to the armed combatants, though, an explosion vented 1,000 Belter civilians who had legitimate grievances against the inner planets. For this action, Fred Johnson was promoted and given the Medal of Freedom, the UN's equivalent to a Medal of Honor. Racked with guilt over the incident, Fred Johnson retired and moved into the Belt. He would frequent OPA bars, get drunk, and fistfight locals. It was as if he was trying to get himself killed. It was Anderson Dawes, a charismatic OPA leader, who convinced Johnson that his talents would be best used serving the people of the Belt rather than trying to get killed by them. Fred Johnson joined the OPA and successfully negotiated a peaceful end to a siege at Palace Station, making him a controversial hero of the Belt and a traitor to Earth. He then took command of Tycho Station, building complex capital ships for a variety of customers, both public and private. He is currently working on a generation ship named the Nauvoo, commissioned by the Mormons for a deep space colonization mission. Fred Johnson offers the Canterbury crew new transponder codes and safe harbor in exchange for their intelligence on the stealth ships and deaths of the Canterbury and Doniger. It is Fred Johnson's sincere aspiration to normalize the Outer Planets Alliance and to rebrand it as a legitimate political peer to Earth and Mars instead of a gang of pirates, thieves, terrorists, and marauders with delusions of grandeur. In need of a gunship and a clandestine crew who knows the Belt, Fred Johnson contracts Holden for a special mission. The crew of the Canterbury, the refugees aboard the Tachi, rename themselves the crew of the Rocinante. Rocinante has multiple meanings, one of them being a workhorse. It is also the name of Don Quixote's horse, who is viewed as a humble, worn-down steed who is called on a great mission. Rearmed, refueled, and disguised as a gas freighter, the Rocinante goes to coordinates provided by a Belter spy, Lionel Polanski. They find a stowaway, an Earther spy, sent to keep tabs on Fred Johnson and his dealings. After debating what to do with the spy and deciding that they're not cold-blooded murderers except for Amos, they allow the spy to tag along and use him as a point man exploring the abandoned stealth ship, later found to be the Anubis. There, the crew finds the ship empty, open to hard vacuum, and all systems manually shut down by a presumed survivor. Navigation logs show the Anubis had recently traveled to Phoebe Station, the location of a presumed bioweapon incident. Phoebe was a joint Earth and Martian research station that went silent, and it was the Donnager that had found all the Martian scientists burned and frozen to the station walls, while all the Earther scientists were missing and their computers destroyed. The crew of the Rocinante find a radiosensitive bioorganic goo congealed around the reactor that starts to grow and reach towards them when they start up the ship. Convinced that this goo is at the heart of the conspiracy and a bioweapon that escaped containment, they nuke the Anubis so no single faction can claim it as a weapon. From there, they travel to Ceres to meet with Lionel Polanski. The Earther spy has been in the belt for a long time, knows it well, and has digital enhancements that allow him to hack into the security systems and data logs of the stations, making it easy for him to find the Belter spy. What the Earther spy doesn't tell them is that the second he hit a network, he flagged down an Earther TAC team that's going to kill the crew and capture Lionel Polanski. They track down the Belter spy to the Blue Falcon Hotel, and this is where things kick off.
The jewel of the belt. I wish I could have seen it in its heyday. It's not a bad district, though. I'm telling you, if you guys like okra-infused, tank-grown ribs, there's a place on level 6 that's pretty good.
Please, shut your word hole.
Here it is. Last place the name Lionel Polanski showed up on the nets was here.
System's acting up today.
But the last time I was here, this machine did not work.
Here you go. Help you? Looking for a friend who checked into a room here. Lionel Polanski.
It's a special friend. It's his birthday.
I got a L. Polanski in room 22. Call up for you?
No, it's a surprise thing. Thank you. Maybe I should go up on my own and freak the guy out.
Maybe take Amos.
Alone is fine.
Run out of ammo!
James Holden.
Should just follow you around, don't it, kid?
You a cop?
Not anymore.
The crew of the Rocinante uses the Earth spy to locate Lionel Polanski at the Blue Falcon Hotel. A funny note about the Blue Falcon in its military usage: a Blue Falcon is a guy who fudges over their buddy, or a buddy fudger. It is ironic, therefore, that this is where the Earther spy, using social attempts to ingratiate himself with the Rossi crew, screws them over by ditching them into the arms of a hostile Earther tactical team. Amos, the most paranoid and violent of the crew, puts his back to a pillar and carefully monitors everyone who comes in the lobby. Alex, the Martian pilot, is less paranoid and actually sits on a coffee table amongst the hostiles. James and Naomi are single-mindedly focused on the mission and are caught by surprise when the lobby erupts into gunfire. It's actually Amos who gets the first rounds off, opening his vest slowly past his Japanese Oni demon pin to get to his pistol. Amos almost kills the shifty spy as he flees, but then turns his weapon on the first female TAC team member to draw their weapon and gets the second one as he's drawing. Everyone takes cover, but unfortunately the hotel clerk is caught in the crossfire and gets smoked. A cursory search of Expanse small arms shows that they work similar to modern weapons with a few enhancements. Some firearms use caseless ammunition to reduce the chances of an errant casing doing damage in a low G or no G environment. Some rounds are self-propelled, meaning they have rocket assist in order to reduce recoil and maximize range in a low gravity or no gravity environment. Some weapons use coil accelerators to help propel rounds to slow but lethal speeds and increase ammo capacity. Additionally, some weapons have their propellant or coil acceleration dialed in to be lethal against unarmored targets, but not so powerful that they'll punch through the wall of a ship or space station. Cops have been warned off from the area, and so the firefight has to play out no matter who wins. The crew are running out of ammo, whereas the TAC team seems more than prepared. A TAC member is blazing away with a submachine gun while his partner pulls out what appears to be a flashbang or a grenade. Detective Miller, an ex-cop from series, arrives just in time to smack the flashbang out of the TAC team member's hand and put a revolver round into his gut. Amos headshots the submachine gunner, and the crew emerges victorious, partially thanks to Miller. Detective Miller is an alcoholic, burnt-out gumshoe detective who would be at home in the early 20th century during Prohibition, as well as he's at home in the Belt. He even likes to wear a fedora hat he stole from his friend Semi, which he left back on Ceres so he wouldn't have to return it. Miller is addicted to the job, melancholic, alcoholic, with bad relationships. He is also brave and noble, but only within reason and when the situation calls for it. A perfect encapsulation of this happens a month earlier on Ceres. As is common, Miller takes a bribe from a shady tenement manager to look the other way and reference the safety codes. Later, though, an air filter breaks down, leading to actual death and injury. The unspoken code was that Miller looks the other way as long as things actually run smoothly. Considering the slumlord allowed his unit to fall into disrepair so badly it kills people and injures children, Miller is no longer willing to look the other way. He puts the slumlord in an airlock and vents it, getting ready to space the slumlord with the press of a button. The slumlord claws at Miller, experiencing the desperation and fear he caused others. At just the last second, when the slumlord is about to go unconscious, Miller opens the airlock back into the station instead of spacing him. His words echo, "Air is good. Keep those filters clean, asshole." A favorite saying of his is that there's no laws on Ceres, just cops. Miller was hired by Star Helix, an Earth-based private security firm on Ceres, to track down, secure, and ship Julie Mao back to her family. His investigation sent him deep into OPA territory, even coming face-to-face with Anderson Dawes. Piecing together what information he could, he discovered that Julie was aboard the Scopuli, which set a navigation track to rendezvous with an unregistered ship, the Anubis. Piecing it together, he then sees the locations of the destroyed Canterbury and Doniger and reasons that Julie Mao was an OPA sympathizer who was trying to pull apart this conspiracy. In tracking Julie, Miller has become obsessed with her, ultimately leading to him being dismissed from Star Helix for this case going way above his pay grade. Miller can't give it up, though, because he admires Julie in both a paternal and protective sense, but also in an admiring and romantic sense. Julie was born rich on Earth and had a prominent scar on her chin. Her rich family, no doubt, could have covered it up with cosmetic surgery, but Miller reasons Julie kept it in defiance of her family's wishes as a badge of honor. Julie could have gotten a cushy job at her father's corporation and sucked blood out of the belt as any Earther corper could. Instead, she slummed in the belt with the locals, getting to know them and sympathize with them. Julie could have gone back to Earth at any point, safe and sound from the danger of the void. Instead, she risked her life to protect the belt from a new weapon meant to crush them. Miller admired her, respected her, loved her, and ultimately was obsessed with her. Anderson Dawes gives Miller just enough information in order to figure out that Lionel Polanski was a pseudonym, and that if he finds Polanski, he's going to find Julie. While a good investigator, a good fighter, and a good shot, Miller has never left Ceres, and unlike many Belters, actually hates travel and the void. He expected to live and die on his home rock, but instead found himself thrown into the void, chasing a lead no one wanted him to find, chasing a girl who didn't even know he existed. What he finds next breaks him.
Hey, thanks for the assist. Now, who the hell are you?
Anybody else know you're coming there?
No, I don't think so.
You do now.
Kenzo? That son of a bitch.
Semi, listen, you're gonna get an alert from the Blue Falcon. Shots fired, a bunch of dead bodies, so I sure hope it's you who answers that call.
Hey! We need to talk. Who the hell are you, and what are you doing here?
I'm going up to room 22. Now, any second, there's gonna be another group of thugs coming through that door, this time with badges. Touch me again, there's gonna be another body on the floor.
Don't!
Julie? Who the hell's Julie?
Oh, God, what's that smell? Sweat. Sick. Ozone. Scopuli.
This might put up a bitch of a fight.
No, they were turning things off. Same as that reactor.
Nobody touch anything. Wait, wait!
Oh my God.
Jesus. Julie.
Miller has a cop friend named Semyon Eros who he notifies of the gunfight, hoping that his friend gets on scene first to prevent another gunfight. Miller and the crew of the Rocinante cannot allow themselves to be detained. Holden is bewildered by Miller inserting himself into their misadventure, but Amos approves of Miller's confident and violent manner. Miller kicks open the door and the crew is horrified by what they find. Piecing it together, every source of radiation and light has been shut off or destroyed. Julie was the sole survivor of the Scopuli and the Anubis, but she was infected with the radio-sensitive black goo known as protomolecule. After her failed mission to capture the Anubis, she stumbled into the Blue Falcon and radioed in the coordinates of the stealth ship, awaiting rescue from the OPA. With everything way too hot to rendezvous with Julie, they allowed her to wither and die in the hotel room. Not wishing to infect anyone else, Julie smashed every source of radiation and light, crawling into the bathroom to die. Luckily, the protomolecule is not airborne in its dormant state, and so none of the Rossi crew or Miller are infected. Semi meets them in the lobby, but he can only delay the other cops for so long. He lets Miller and the crew escape, but asks that Miller and him meet before they leave. The situation is heating up and about to crescendo, and so I'm ecstatic to work on next week's episode. If you want to support this channel, please remember to like the video, share it with your friends, ring the bell for new videos, and comment for the comment gods. Your viewership helps me in the algorithm and is appreciated. Also, be sure to check out Counterpoints 40K and Star Wars, linked in the description and the homepage. If you want to take your support a bit further, please become a YouTube member or join us at patreon.com/counterpoints. Check out the other videos on the channel, support our sponsors, so catch you in the next one.